Alright guys, Stevo here and welcome back to the channel, and I guess like our first official entry video on this new channel here, going on our journey of video game collecting, the ins and outs of it, maybe some tips and tricks you could use to grow in your collection, and just talking about collecting as a whole, all the hot button topics in it. But in today's video, I wanted to talk about Facebook Marketplace and show you guys that you still can get deals on Facebook Marketplace. Do you got to get lucky? Yes. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. A lot of times, if you're not the first one on a page trying to get something or a listing, you're just not going to get it, unfortunately. And sometimes you might be the first one and you're going to get undercut and still miss out on being able to get items. But these are some examples here to show you that you can still get lucky and get some Facebook Marketplace deals. So in my area, it's about a population of about 25,000 people in my town. So that's got pros and cons to it. The cons being there's just not a lot of listings that ever pop up in my area. Not a lot of people are inventory to buy from just because it's such a small group of people. The pros could be that maybe I have less competition, but trust me guys, there's a lot of people out here collecting just like me, and there's a lot of people who have a primary source of income being reselling who go after all this stuff in my area, believe it or not, even though it's a small town. I know them. So it's just kind of crazy how even small towns, there could be a ton of resellers who it's their main primary source of income. But then you have bigger towns. I know there's a channel out there, Collector's Luck. I see his Instagram feed all the time. It seems like he's getting deals like this 3 or 4 times a day, that guy gets stuff. But he lives in a really big town with hundreds of thousands of people. The pros there being you could get a lot more inventory going online for you to look at. But also some cons being you're probably going to have a whole lot more competition. People who have their name out there, and maybe a guy like him where he's the go-to person they might even reach out to. So competition can be really tough in those big areas. Another problem with Facebook Marketplace is a lot of times these people are overpricing their stuff. You could see a listing for Wii Sports and they might be asking $40 for it, and you're like, what is this person thinking? People come on the marketplace looking for a deal to get stuff like under market value. So I'm not surprised when you see those listings stay on there forever and they just do not sell. But hey, it's your stuff. You can ask for what you want on it, but I mean, people are only going to pay what they're going to pay. So, but these 3 deals were awesome, and some of them got a couple stories behind them. So first one that really doesn't have a story behind it that we can get into to show you guys that you can still get some good deals on it. And all these deals were in the past month, and I will show you guys a screenshot of the picture I took of the listing so you guys can believe me on what we paid on this stuff and everything. But this complete in box Wii Sports Edition Wii was $65 on the marketplace. The reason I got this, I have a rule in my purchasing because I'm not a guy who's trying to make money off of reselling video games. I'm trying to grow my collection over here. This is my primary thing, is to grow my collection. There's even more shelves behind me. So that's the goal for me. And in doing so, we do sell the extra games out of our purchases here. But when I make a purchase, there has to be stuff I want for my collection in it. I just don't go looking for stuff online to flip to sell. I gotta want to have something in it. And with this Wii, I love collecting complete in box consoles, and I already have the black version of the Wii that came out, but I didn't have the original white one here. And this was from an older couple who had it, and they kept the box in pretty decent condition. You can see there is some dirt stuff on it, but that should be able to wipe off without me harming the box too much. But it also came with some games here. This is the game that gets packed in with it, the Wii Sports. But it also came with Wii Sports Resort, Mario Galaxy, and then a bunch of shovelware games. Now, the good thing with this is I like to collect everything. I love fishing games and stuff like that. So even these shovelware games I want for the collection. So stuff like this stays. Even though I have Wii Sports, I want to keep this copy to go back in the box just so it can be whole again as far as being complete. But the rest of these, the Wii Resort, the Mario Galaxy, and Wii Fit Plus, I'll be able to get rid of in order to recoup some of my costs that I paid, which was already a great deal on this Wii. So I'll be able to recoup 40 bucks off of that stuff, or $35, and make this turn into like a $30 purchase. So that's kind of how you can work the system to really make collecting on a budget work. You just got to be able to find deals like that out there. And even if you were someone who wanted to get rid of all of this stuff, you'd even make a bigger profit than that. But again, that's not the goal of my channel. I'm trying to grow my collection. So, and with this being an older couple, all this stuff was just in immaculate shape as far as the discs and everything. And you know, the cool thing with me is it allows me to, I sell these things like way cheaper than other people normally do. Again, because I'm not trying to do this for a living. It's just to grow my collection. So if a Wii Sports Resort normally goes for 30 bucks, I'll sell it for 24. Like I could care less. I always undercut everything just because I don't need it. I'm just growing the collection. So awesome pickup there for the Wii, and that was local. The next one we'll talk about here has an interesting story behind it. Was this Xbox 360 lot, and instead of folding each game down one by one, I'll show you the big heavy hitters off the top here. As you can see, Spider-Man, Edge of Time, Deadpool, Transformers, Fall of Cybertron with some label damage, and Amazing Spider-Man are the big hitters of the lot here. And if you turn the game sideways here, just to save a little bit of time, the rest of them are kind of some more basic common games. But as I show you guys the listing for this stuff, the person only wanted $50 for this. And there's some things about listing like this that can be fishy. Anytime I see an account that's been created in 2024, I just think it's a spam account and it's a fake account and you're not going to get anything. But you know what? I took the chance. I messaged the person and said, hey, I'd be interested in this. Only problem is they lived a state over, and I was not going to drive to pick this up. It wouldn't have been worth it. But I asked him if he'd be willing to ship it, and I would pay more. I offered $80 for the stuff plus shipping, and they said, sure, we'll ship it out. And, you know, that was a risky thing that I took. I took a risk on sending this person the payment for this. At first, they didn't have any sort of payment thing set up on Facebook yet. So they wanted to do Venmo or something. I was like, I don't really trust that. But in the end, I would have took the gamble on it just to see, because there are protections to all these services, and I saved screenshots of everything just in case it fell through. They ended up getting able to process the payment through Facebook, so that really took a lot of my concern away. And sure enough, they mailed it the same day, like 30 minutes after we were done talking, and it came 2 days later, priority mail. So for $80 is what I paid for this stuff instead of the $50 you see in the picture, because they didn't even charge extra for the shipping. They just said send us $80. I got all these great Xbox 360 titles. Now the only ones I needed for the collection were Spider-Man Edge of Time and Crysis 3 and the Sniper Ghost Warrior. Everything else I either already have or just did not care to have in the collection. So I'll be able to recoup that cost pretty easily with the Deadpools and even with the busted up Fall of Cybertron. But this just goes to show that you should just take a chance, span your horizons out on your search. Like, you don't just have to focus on your area. You can look out to other states and send them a message like, hey, would you be willing to ship this? Offer more money. And you could get lucky and land yourself a solid deal, like I did on this stack of Xbox 360 games. Now, last but not least is this amiibo deal you see over here. And this one was pretty fun because earlier in the summer, I actually saw all these amiibo at a garage sale. Yes, I like to go garage sale hunting, and if you look at my main channel, you can see some of the highlights from this past year's hunting. But I saw this at a garage sale. Unfortunately, I was not the first person looking at them. The story behind it, me and a car pulled up to this garage sale at the same time. I actually got out of my car first and saw an Animal Crossing book on a table, and I figured, oh, they must have some gaming stuff over there. So I beelined to that table. Unbeknownst, right behind me was a table full of all these amiibos sitting there. And when I turned around, the gentleman who I actually had beat out to the yard sale was there looking at them and already talking with the young girl who was selling these things to make a deal on all of them. I believe there's 50, if not a little bit more amiibo here, and I paid 150 bucks for them from this guy. He actually paid 30 bucks to that young girl that day at the garage sale. And I felt so bad for that little girl because part of me wanted to jump in and say, hey, like, I'll give you way more than that for these amiibo. But garage sale etiquette, I wasn't going to cut in and be a jerk like that on this guy's deal. And in the long run, I ended up with them anyway, still at a great price because this is over $500 worth of stuff right here in amiibos, guys. And this guy knows what he had, but I think he also knew what he paid for it, so he didn't mind letting it go for the price he let it go for. I just thought it was funny how I was there present while he was buying these things. I even offered to buy some from him after his deal was done. There was some I really wanted for my collection, like the Shulk amiibo here, and some of the links here I didn't have. There's a bunch of these I do not have, but there are doubles in here that I get to get rid of that will help even recoup some of this 150 that I paid for it. Now, am I going to recoup it all? No, because I'm going to keep a lot of these figures because I do not have them. And again, I'm a collector. I'm trying to collect. So only the doubles will be going out, but that'll help make up a good chunk of it. I just thought it was so unique that something that I wanted at a garage sale, in the long run, I ended up getting anyway. So it was pretty cool. And I don't mind paying the 150 bucks for it because, like I said, that is a great deal for these things. So there it is, guys. It's just showing you that, I mean, with some luck and some patience, you still can find some deals on the Facebook Marketplace. So don't give up on it, even in 2025. And, you know, we'll get into it, how the retro market and stuff I think is going to happen and how I think it might work out in our favor here in the future, us collectors who like collecting retro stuff, where I think prices might actually dip. But we'll get into that in a future video. Until then, I'll catch you guys in the next one.